G'day and welcome back to the Pillars, not Pillars, jeez, to Torment, Tides of Ranmenera. We, last time round, talked to a couple of people. We talked to the genocide, we talked to a strange philosophical floating robot thing, and we even got ourselves a teleportation nodule to try and teleport this beast, which you can actually follow most of this quest line if you go on YouTube. There was this kind of a playable teaser that goes through that. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to Steresti and Felinda, and I might talk to these guys, but I don't want to actually have time pass just yet, so I'm not going to rest. So let's talk to Steresti. Nearly every inch of this merchant's body is covered in tightly wound robes and furs. A hood obscures its head, and a mask conceals its face. It caresses a cracked ancient scroll with dark fingers. It notices you and gently taps its similarly dressed companion on the shoulder, leaving a smidge of fibrous ink. Surprise embitterment. Felinda recognized the thief at once, the creature says, crossing its swaddled arms. Perhaps she imagined that by speaking with Steresti, she would evade Felinda's notice. Unfortunately for her, nothing ever did. Watch Steresti work. The merchant's spread-fingered hands glide over a faded parchment with the faint sound of quills scratching. Vibrant letters in an unfamiliar tongue appear in their wake. Watch a bit more. The merchant again passes a hand over the page, and you hear the scrape of quill on paper. Dark letters emerge from the shadow of that hand as if pulled from beneath the page. Same deal? Yep, same deal. Why is your partner narrating me? Steresti either ignores you or does not hear you. Why don't you talk? Does not acknowledge your question in the slightest. Why don't you talk? Farewell. Damn it. I wanted to be annoying. Let's try this again. This time with keys. Why don't you talk? 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 Let's just be the 2-year-old and see if there is a point at which a threshold at which it does something. Nope. We can be the 2-year-old for ages, it would seem. Why? Aw. It has more patience than I do. Alright, Felinda. Nearly every inch of this merchant's body is covered in tightly wound robes and furs. A hood obscures its head, and a mask conceals its face. This doesn't stop you from noticing that it's apparently furious with you. Trembling, it bats at its similarly dressed companion. Both of them turn impassive masks back to you. Neither Felinda nor Steresti could believe it, but the thief had come back. Had she come in shame, ready to return what she had taken? No, her hands were empty, her expression baffled. Felinda crosses swaddled arms. Perhaps the thief had simply forgotten to return what she had borrowed, but this made her no less a thief. You must have met the previous inhabitant of this body. What did she take? The thief asked. Felinda faltered, but only for a moment. The merchant's memory was as organized as a library shelf, and it remembered the face, twisting with desire for the very book in question. It remembered the same voice making promises it apparently had no intent of keeping. Felinda thought the thief's lies were more convincing before. 10 years ago, this thief had borrowed a book. Felinda wondered if the scoundrel was possibly unfamiliar with the definition of the word. It did not mean taking a thing and keeping it, after all. Steresti pointedly returns to her work, ignoring you both. Felinda sighs, massaging his temples with gloved hands. But in the end, Felinda took a deep breath and asked the thief to simply return the sealed and long overdue book with the 5-colored sigil on its cover. How can you possibly remember who borrowed a book from you 10 years ago? The cunning thief said, hoping to arouse doubt in Felinda's mind, but the hope was a foolish one. Felinda was memory in the same way the thief was fatty tissue, fluids, and chunks of calcium. Felinda was out of patience. Was the thief going to return the book or not? I'll find the book. You have me word. I can't promise anything, but I'll look for it. The thief muttered, ashamed, but Felinda was satisfied, temporarily. Why do you narrate everything I say? The thief said, but Felinda knew from long experience there was no explaining it. The merchant kneels before a bookshelf and jams book after book into the remaining space. This frustrated Felinda. After all, the two merchants were creatures of word bound in metal and cloth, but whenever Felinda tried to bend these same words into explanations and answers, they crumbled and fell apart. They could not fold themselves around the truth. The merchant slams a final book into place, and so Felinda said nothing. And once again, Felinda was exonerated. The thief knew she was a thief. Why won't you tell me what you're narrating everything I say? The thief pleaded, but she still did not understand. Felinda wasn't speaking. That the thief was hearing. That what the thief was hearing was a passage of time.
Making a note. I'm ready.
Felinda returned to the work at hand. Okay. Otero. Lovable street urchin. Winds spin off the distant sea, sweeping between you and the boy, whistling up towards the peaks of Sega's cliffs. He glances at you, then at the crowds at the plaza beyond. He appears to be looking for someone. Would she have come to the city? Doesn't seem like her kind of play, but... So are you wandering down from the reef? Did you get to that star before the others did? He looks back at your face and grins. Guess not, that ain't a face that found a good pick. A lot of people went looking for the star, did they? Nah, not too many. Gotta be a carker to go down to the reef. That place is haunted. But despite his hard words, his eyes settle on you. Studying, deciding, his mouth settles into an irritated line. Look, he says, running a hand over his stubbled scalp. You hide it well, but I can tell you knew it. I ain't trying to offend you. But I don't like leaving folk new to the Sagas on their own. If you have questions about the city, or Circus Minor in particular, I'll answer them, free of charge. Of course, it already looks like you got a guide, he says, nodding at Calisage. Calisage? Why is this freshie travelling with her? She scares the tongue out of me. Hello, dear, your companion says politely before turning to you. Otero knows this city better than almost anyone, and it's quite unlike him to give away anything for free, let alone his terribly valuable advice. Do take him up on his offer. Nice of you to say. Well, do you live here? Not really. Walls are nice, but they keep you in one place. I like to move around, explore. Don't like being in much at all, really. City folk are scarier than scroungers. You don't have a home? Don't need one. Carry my life with me. I'm looking for the cult of the changing god.
Remember that.
Well, you're not going to be able to miss them. They're camped around that weird clock on the other side of the square. What do you want with those carcass anyway? They owe you something. Just need to ask him a few questions. Fair enough. Even carcass get it right sometimes. Where's the order of truth?
Making a note.
In the government square. From here, follow the path around the left. Look for the stairs going up. So we're in Circus Minor now. Yeah, right. The heart of the city. He says, folding his arms. Levies and politicians will tell you government square is the center of Sega's cliffs, but they're not thinking right. He spreads his hands, framing the plaza. When the folk come to Segas, they come here. They talk, they trade, flirt and fight, tell stories. Everyone who comes here leaves different. Anyway, what do you want to know? Does anyone around here know how to fix complex machinery? Prior, that's a bug lady in the market's pretty good with machines. You might ask her for advice. He rubs the back of his head. Otherwise, you could want to visit the foreman in the underbelly. Might be able to fix it if they can stop fighting long enough. What's happening on that stage? An execution, he says, rolling his eyes. It'll be going on for a few days yet. All those folks think they'll learn great truths from the nightmares of the dying man. He shakes his head. It's not worth my time. Might be worth yours if you haven't seen one before. What are you doing here anyway? I just got back from a scrounge. Here trading salvo for supplies before I set out again. Enjoying the sights, you know. Where would she have gone if she came here, and why? His eyes sweep the crowds again. Can't help but notice he doesn't seem to be enjoying himself. He looks downright happy. Who are you looking for? He flinches and glares at you. At first it seems like he's not going to answer. Girl I met a while back, he says at last. Looking away. She was new in town, like you, wondering what happened to her, if she's okay. Anyways, you got any other questions? Didn't look like she broke camp, more like she left in a hurry. Let's ask about something else. Where can I find a place to sleep around here? Cottle's Change of God might let you sleep in the camp, or you can try Tranquility's Rest at the Caravanserai. What can you tell me about the city? Depends on what you want to know. I spend most of my time in Circus Minor, but there's other districts too. Government Square, Cliff's Edge, Underbelly, Caravanserai. There's also Reef of the Fallen Worlds, but you've already been down there. Let's go through each of these. Tell me about the Reef of Fallen World. Only carcass lavers, bullies, and diggers desperate for scrounge go there. Then you, of course. He stares past you down the winding steps. Besides, folks think it's haunted by ghosts from previous worlds, and I've seen enough down there to agree with him. But it's dangerous enough without worrying about ghosts. Koro is a local glass, came up with a corpse over his shoulder, bragging he was the one what did it. Why doesn't local law do something about him? They might, one day, but the reef isn't part of their turf, doesn't belong to anyone. Tell me, what's with the caravanserai? It's a port of Sagas. Any ship that can fly lands there, makes their trades, takes off for foreign parts. He turns a scornful eye towards the distant flags on the high crag. Plenty to see right here in Sagas, don't know why people insist on leaving. What's Cliff's Edge? A damn dangerous place to live, he says, laughing. Folks will build their houses out on the ledge over the sea, and everyone gets upset when one of them falls. Here it's been getting worse lately. Watch your feet up there. What about the underbelly? Imagine an underground place where the city sends everyone they don't like. Cannibal cultists, mutants, carcass, thugs. Now add a stink like burning metal and cooking meat. That's the underbelly. And Government Square? You mentioned Government Square. I did, he says, none. Bet you can guess what's up there. What's in Government Square? Really? He says, looking bait. You want me to lay this up? Fine. The government is in Government Square. And the auditory. They're just as fancy government folks. Sorry, I forgot what was in Government Square. Can you remind me? He slaps his forehead. The government, he says, peering at you between his fingers. Other things too, but mostly government. I'm so glad they have the ability to repeatedly ask him that. Let's see. Any more questions we can ask? No. That's cool. I think he's looking for Rin.
Yes.
So let's chat with Prada. What do we got doing time-wise? Cool. And probably Jerem. Hey, how's it going, Prada? In the shadows cast by the folds of the merchant's cowl, you glimpse hints of verdant chitin and amber mandibles erupting from pale human flesh. The voluminous robes cannot hide the fact that her movements are off, as if many joints inhabit too little space. But her voice is a warm tumbling flood of spoken thoughts and impulses. A fair afternoon to you. Warm, isn't it? Something begins humming in one of her pockets. Her brilliant, multifaceted eyes flicker towards an invisible point in the distance. Well, not as warm as it could be, but it's the warmest minute of the week by a considerable margin. He trails off, but the hum continues. Oh, you have one of those tattoos too. Anyway, can I interest you in some prime artifacts? Dusty relics, Numenera of uncertain origin. It looks like that pale woman. No, you're right, buddy. Not looks, smells. I'm looking for someone who can repair a complex machine. Can you help? Ooh, I'd love to. Complex machine's my favorite. But no, I shouldn't. I'm really behind on work orders this month. This may surprise you, but I'm very, very easily distracted. He shrugs beneath her robes. You're better off with someone else. Sorry. You appear to be transforming into an insect. Doesn't that bug you? I know, isn't it fantastic? I think it might be caused by the intermingling fields of the Numenera. I used to organize my thoughts. Or the ones I'm selling? Or maybe all of them. You never know how a variety of ciphers will interact with each other. They're such fun. Tell me about the Numenera you used to order your thoughts. Oh, it's simple, sort of. Prada pulls 3 tiny Numenera from her robes, a buzzing bird figurine, a green music box, and a circular spring. I have too many thoughts. If I tried to hold them all in one brain, I'd just stand and drool, you know. Each of these have a slightly different purpose. Which one do you want to hear about? Bird. Let's start with the top of the list. Birdie's pretty simple. If I'm running with a great thought and I don't have time to complete it, I shut it into her so I can pick it back up later. She does make everything smell like berries, though. And the music box? Jade box is a tough old lady. If I'm rolling with a more complex line of thinking, I bring her up and she jumps the individual ideas and feeds them back to me. I try to use her as little as possible because she gives me headaches. No, what's the opposite? Head eases? Anyway, they're worse than headaches because you can't go around thinking everything's alright. It's bad for your health. And the circular spring? That's around her. She's a bit scary. I can shine a bunch of thoughts into her. She doesn't process them. She just gives them back to me, slightly changed and infinitely better than when they went in. Try not to use her too much. Feels like cheating. Actually, I want to buy one. I hate to say no, but I've had them since I was little. They're practically family. Let's talk about something else then. Can you... sorry. You said someone else had my tattoo. Who? Oh, right, Pale Lady. She wanted me to fix an artifact to hers, but I couldn't make any sense of it, and that's rare, believe me. I felt sorry for her, to tell you the truth. She seemed sad, like she'd lost something and was never going to get it back. She wouldn't say what had lost when I asked her. I know I could have helped. Let me see what you're selling. So, she's selling various Numenera. So these are things, ciphers rather, these are things that'll explode. Yep, those are all damaging, don't care. This is a full party heal. Ooh, that could be useful. This is auto heal for one character, and these are minor heals. I don't actually want to spend much money at the moment, but I'll keep that in mind for when I come back. I might sell off something, so this wool woven garment, for example, I should sell, so we'll do that.
Go.
And let's talk to Jerem. Hey, what's up, Jerem? Jeremy? Okay. The child skids to a halt and rubs his forehead with a grimy forearm, leaving arrow tracks of dirt across his ruddy skin. Hey, Shiva. He pants, shading his eyes from the sun and grinning up at you. Never seen you before. I don't know why all my kids are like little British orphans, but whatever. You called me Shiva. What the hell does that mean? Huh? Jerem says, a cautious light enters his eyes. Really? You never heard of it? Has that changed too? No, that sounds familiar. What does it mean again? Relief flashes across the child's face. It's a nickname for adults. Not a mean one, not really. Some adults are nice to kids, right? Pat on the head, here's a flower, a bit of nash, whatever. But some are not so nice. They curse. They shove us aside when we're in the way. Kids remember the shoving more than smiles, right? So, Shiva. Good. At least some things are the same. You like playing in the market? Not always, but it's better than school, eh? I remember watching Zalfi make sculptures, and the ones that go sharp and curly. Reminds me of the monster on the side of Scarahol. Why do you like Zalfi's stall again? His sculptures. Not good enough for the side of Scarahol, but close. Scarahol, what's that building? Yeah, Shiva. It's just a building at the center of town. A couple of thousand hands tall, with a mural on the side like Zalfi's sculpture, but flat and in purple rock. Don't think you're gonna miss it if you're looking for it, eh? A wave of dizziness clutches at you, and you close your eyes to steady yourself. You kneel in a basement amid rotting rolls of carpet and broken furniture. A stack of paintings, draped in dust and mold, leaning against the wall, sweating wall. The painting in front of you displays the building Jerem's speaking of. But through this mind, you remember that it was torn down centuries ago to build a forgotten ruler's palace. The stink of the basement flees from your nostrils as you open your eyes. Jerem, fidgeting, has looked away from you to examine an interesting stall. Why are you so dirty? I don't know. Padjo and Kellenor make me wash twice a day. Guess the dirt likes me, eh? Did your parents worry about you running around here all alone? My parents? You mean Padjo and Kellenor? They're watching until me, Mard and Sira come back for me. What do Mard and Sira mean? Huh? Jerem says, looking just as puzzled if you ask him what hands are for. Mard, Sira, my parents. You asked about them. Padjo and Kellenor are taking care of me until they come back. It's another one, isn't it? No wonder Padjo doesn't like me talking to people. The words tickle your memory. Your eyelids flutter and you see hands, not yours, carefully turning the pages of an ancient book. Your roving eye catches the words Mard and Sira, old words for mother and father. You blink hard, noticing... you focus on Jerem once again. He doesn't appear to have noticed your sudden fugue, but he's not looking at you either. You keep using words I don't recognize. Where did you hear them? Jerem's face goes white. I'm not allowed to tell adults about him, or where I'm from. His gaze steals to Padjo and Kellenor, both of whom are suddenly taking greater interest in your conversation. Don't ask, eh? Don't worry. I'm in so much trouble. Not even sure what it did. Don't worry. I know all sorts of secrets. I won't tell anyone. You can trust me, boyo. I'm just gonna do this. It'll be interesting to see what happens if I fail. But hey, I succeed. Jerem wavers, looking up between his adopted parents, and the face of his new friend finally gives up. Alright, guess I can tell you. But you can't spread it round, right? Alright, tell me where you're from. Hey, Shuva. He says, brow crinkling in frustration. Sorry, here, Shuva. He says, brow crinkling in frustration. From here, it just up and changed without me. I grew up in the Downs. My parents lost their spots on the work chain, and we went to sleep hungry more and more. Neither of them could look at me without crying. He swallows. But everyone in the Downs was starving. Wasn't anything new. People started using that archway more and more. Downs have changed too. I can see it on their face. What are the Downs? We weren't in the families in the up. Everyone else was Downs, inside the wreckage. We'll dig deep looking for food first, warm second. My neighborhood was inside this curvy spiral. Same painting as the seashell. That's what it's like. I knew it. What's wrong with this place? Tell me about the archway you mentioned. Big thing. Always good smells coming out of it too, like roasted meat and sunny days. Used to watch it. Was never sure what it was for, you know. Parents in the Downs never talked about it either. Then one day I saw Corner, friend of mine, and her Mard go up. Mard gives her a kiss and sends her through. And Corner never come out again. Know what did though? Music? Bloody bones. God, Shiva, Jerem says, eyeing you with respect. Wish that were true. Be a lovely story. But no, it was a metal ring. He says, lowering his voice to a confidential whisper. Didn't look to be worth much, but every once in a while, you'd hear Corner laughing. Whoever she was happy, right? He raises a hand to his cheek and then continues. Handful of days pass. My mom takes me for a walk too. Said she'd find me when they'd saved the money, kiss me and push me through. Woke up outside another archway, up in Government Square. Padre and Kellenor were waiting there for me. They're not so bad. Keep hoping my parents will stop by to visit, even if they don't have the money yet, right? He pauses, rubbing at the sudden moisture in his eyes. Try to laugh a lot so they can hear me though. Aww. So now let's talk to Padre and Kellenor. This couple stands together, their shared gaze fixed away from you. No words pass between them. Instead, they share a silent language of tenderness. Their bodies subtly turn towards each other, forming a private space between them. His hand reaches for hers, and without looking, she claims it. Still looking past you, they smile together. His is a curved line carved in oak. Hers as unabashed and radiant as a lantern on a starless night. So beautiful. I do hope we're a good home for him. Turning, you see the object of their attention, a young boy darting between their stalls. Playing in the dust, each distant exhilarating shout widens their respective smiles and tightens their grip on each other. Is that your son? Yes, Kellenor says firmly. He's watching the boy, but a wary stillness has spilled into his posture. Pudge just swats his shoulder and there's more punch than playfulness. Not yet. We adopted Jerem. We're waiting to see how he feels about that, aren't we, Kellenor? His eyes flicker stubbornly, but he does not respond. Go away, go away! Why did you decide to adopt? Well, Kellenor and I, we've been together for how long? Years. Kellenor says, a glint in his eye. Let's see how long this one lasts. And we knew we wanted children, so we tried and tried. We tried a lot. Some days I barely had time to put my clothes on again before Kel took them off again. Interesting. Go on. Pudge raises her eyebrow. Well, there was poor Kel, practically falling asleep on shift, getting his trousers half the time, and me with nothing to show for it but a glow on my cheeks. Clearly, we were working with a barren field. Or faulty seeds. Does run in the family. So we decided to find a child who needed a home, rather than getting old trying to make one of our own. Does that answer your question? More than adequately. I thought so. We get asked this question a lot. We found that being explicit about the process made the questions just melt away. What brings you here? Jerem likes it, Jerem likes it, Kellenor says. The stern expression around his eyes softens somewhat. We don't have much time between shifts. All money to spend on frippery, so we bring him to the market when we can and watch him play. It's better than a night at the theatre. Kellenor raises their clasped hands and kisses her bruised knuckles. Jerem told me about the door he went through. What's going on? Had to pry, didn't you? Calm down, Kel. Padja says, putting a hand on her chest. Stranger, can we convince you to leave this alone? Please, for the sake of our family. Jerem finds out I'm terrified to think of what happened. I just want to know what's going on here. I won't tell anyone. She bites her lip and searches your eyes. Kelenor's hand slides over her shoulder to cup the back of her neck. Maybe you're true to your word, maybe you're not. The more we argue, the more likely Jerem will overhear. Her eyes shift to you, weary and desponding. Jerem got here through the House of the Empty. He comes from Sagas, like us, only centuries in the past. That's why his speech is different, why he remembers places that aren't here anymore. She jabs her chest with a callous finger. Keep this to yourself. We'll tell him when we find a kind way of letting the child know that everyone he knows and loves is long dead and dust. Kick the skist out of her. She breaks my little boy's heart. Look, let's say I won't be the one to tell him, but you should, and soon. You're right, we will, we promise. Can you tell me more about this House of Empty Time? We don't know any more about it than we told you. Find the house's keeper and ask her. Her name was... She chose off forward, Kirsten thought. Alkemperi, keeper of the House of Time. You might find her in Government Square. Thank you, Cal. Couldn't hold on to her name if it was buried in a bag of shins. Anyway, the very moment we decided to adopt, she was knocking on our door. We were nervous, but you can't argue with the results. Farewell. Enjoy the market.
Ready.
Broken dreams. I'll talk to Zalfi. Oh, this is just a bridge. Okay. Cool. I think we'll talk to Zalfi and then we'll continue to talk to less pleasant people like slavers. This portly man's cracked and bleeding hands are always moving, picking fretfully at his thick lips, running through his thinning hair or moulding aimless shapes in the air. His clothes are marked with paint, dust, dried blood, and clay. His eyes brim with frustrated tears as he studies the strangely familiar sculptures arrayed about him. Soul like slivers of ice, fingertips long, shriveled, sharp screams trapped in flesh. She holds him in place. She's killing him. He's not looking at her. Why? Why isn't he? Afraid? No. What am I not seeing? What am I missing? Who was he? What was he feeling? Without that, I can do nothing. What's wrong? Everything, he says, without a moment's pause, effortlessly drawing you to his self-directed terrain. Every detail is almost right, which means everything is wrong. I'm Zalfi, stone carver, sculptor, divine painter of living eyes, and in this challenge, my greatest work, my talent has finally abandoned me. Behold my art wanderer, witness these dull stumps, these crude replicas of a sublime being. What is it that I've made? Try to recall why the sculptures look so familiar. You stare at the sculptures, your memories flow into its sweeping curves, teasing you with what you've seen in your short life and beyond. Yes, this towering thing is the true form of the creature that pursues you. Zalfi has sculpted the sorrow. You don't realize you've spoken aloud until Zalfi's gasp and see the tears in his eyes. Yes, sorrow, or even grief is present in the work. I feel it, but where I cannot pull it from the stone. I saw this creature on a cold night not long ago. Smoking coronas of blackened light drew me to my window, Zalfi says, shaping the scene with his palms. And there on the streets was she, gripping a man in her talons. Before my very eyes she ripped his essence from him, leaving him a steaming husk. But what do you get? You don't grasp the importance of capturing such a subject. Of course you do. You wish to capture the emotion of the victim. Zalfi stares at you dumbfounded. Yes, he says finally. Gods around us, yes, someone gets it. He points a trembling finger at the faceless stone human. He stared eternity in the face and did not blink. He will be forgotten unless I capture him here. And I cannot do that unless I know what drove him. The moment he fell, I ran for the street, but the Dendro claimed him at first. Now I'll never know who he was. Is there anything else? Sorry, no, let's see. Tell me about the Dendro. They are a cult and a curse. They would have you believe they exist to preserve the great works of humanity, to celebrate life. You might even believe them until you smell their breath. The truth is that they squat in their underbelly chapel, eating corpses and claiming it gives them power. If I learn anything about your subject, I'll let you know. Sweet. So yeah, we're picking up quests, which is one of the reasons why I want to do this. I also like that, we're looking around here, got a merchant that sells us memories. I don't remember what, I think he sold dreams, literally dreams. But yeah, so next time round, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this slaver, and then let's see the map. We've gone around here. We'll probably go and do the execution ground and check out this area and head over to the cliffs, I think. I mean, we could probably go for Makina, but I think it's probably better to do this, so we'll do that. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you spending the time and effort watching the videos I make. If you'd like to watch more, on the left there should be another video from this playlist. On the right there will be whatever YouTube recommends, and in the center there is a convenient subscribe button just in case you need it.